Good morning, everybody. This is Charles Owen from Paladin Data Corporation. Thank you so much for attending today. Welcome to the ACE Virtual User Group meeting. Now, unfortunately, we can't all be together, but we still like to communicate with you. So this is our way to do it. And until we can meet once again in person, you're going to see me on the video here. So I've got a presentation to lay out for you today, something similar that I would give at any one of the markets. This one's very specific to ACE. So in this slide deck is quite large. It's 50 slides or so. So we're going to be going through this for about 45 minutes. Before I get started, I'll just start with a quick introduction. I'm Charles Owen with Paladin, been here 12 years. Chief Experience Officer is my title, which means I'm just an advocate for you, our customers. Welcome customers, also any ACE reps or representatives on the phone, that's great. Prospects, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started momentarily. Just want to make sure you can hear me and see my screen. If you wouldn't mind, I noticed a couple. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Got it. Looks like we're all in check. So let's go ahead and kick this off. So real quick, just to let you know, if you get interrupted, customers come first, right? So if you need to leave the station, you can come back, and beginning, I believe, later today or at least by tomorrow, this presentation will be loaded up on the portal.paladinpos.com/webinar site, which you can watch it at your leisure. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to put those questions into the question box. I will answer those at the end of the presentation. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So we're going to start out with what you're going to learn. Now, some of this stuff you might recognize that you might have seen before. I'm going to go through part of this pretty quickly. The new help request portal, I'm going to share that with you and why that's important. Some of the new integrations that we have, some of the expanded mobile device support and apps that we have, as well as the new point of sale features and some new ACE features specifically for ACE, and then some stuff to entice you, some what's coming soon. I also have a new one right off the press that I'm excited to share with you. Only you will hear about it. All right, so let's move on to the new help request portal. So why is it important? Well, it's important because this is the way that we are able to bring in cases that they can be categorized and submitted to the proper people for help. And you do that by just going to the Paladin application, clicking on help, support, and there you have chat support for very quick questions. You have submit a help request where you can more complex issues when chat's not available. And then also you can view your active requests. So that's the capability that you have for submitting help requests. Chat support, just enter your question. You know, you get real-time help from Paladin. We're open 5 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And you get a pretty quick answer, but again, you don't want to put complex issues in here, just real simple ones. What pops up is the first thing that pops up is not shown here, but it says, is this a store down situation? If it is a store down situation, you'll be guided to lob a store down case. If not, then you will be requested to put a category, subject, a small description, your phone number, and an email, and then hit send. You will get a help request confirmation email sent back to you with the case number. And, you know, it's important, like I said, we're trying to keep up with the requests coming in all the time, and we want to make sure we don't lose them. When you send an email or you call, there's potential that it may or may not go into the CRM portal at that time. You are 100% assured that it will go into CRM if you go and hit submit a help request. We cannot lose it. It's not going to be one of those things where I called, left a message, or I talked to somebody and they said they were going to get back to me. No, this is permanent. It will lob a case into our CRM. It will then be redirected to the appropriate technician. It collects information from your store as well, which is vitally important. And when you call us and you or email us, we will have to reach out at one point or coming up here soon, where we'll have to go into your system, and with you, we'll have to go in and lob a case in from your support system. That'll be the only way to put a request in the system. And again, it's important because it helps us look for patterns, it helps us look for problems, and so we can better service our customers. All right, next, a couple of new integrations I want to mention. If you sell firearms in any capacity, this is a fabulous system. Fastbound is what it's called. It does manage the firearms compliance, and it works really well with Paladin's serialized tracking system. So again, you have guaranteed compliance for firearm acquisition and disposition, A&D, and also filling out the 4473 background checks are also part of this. Every piece of information that's required for the bound book will be collected in Paladin and in real time sent to Fastbound. So at the end of the month or whenever you need to produce your Fastbound book or electronic bound book, you have access to it immediately, very, very quickly through Fastbound. Next is QuickBooks Online integration. That's different from QuickBooks Enterprise. QuickBooks Enterprise is the in-store or on-premise version. This is the online or cloud-based version. So we do support the synchronization of the end-of-day general ledger information that is sent up to QuickBooks. In addition to that, you can activate the POs to be sent over. As you close them in Paladin, it creates a bill in QuickBooks, or a payable event, if you will. Some of the expanded mobile device support and apps. So some of you had experience with Touch Dynamics. Some it worked well, some it didn't. Some of the things you need to know about this is it is a full license of Paladin loaded on a computer without a keyboard. It's a tablet. It does have an integrated credit card device where you can dip with EMV, and you can also sign and as well as scan items. So what the limitations of this thing, however, is it has to remain, because it's a full-on Paladin license, it has to be in the store or near the store so it can communicate with the Paladin database via Wi-Fi. This is not the device that you take outside and you drive down the street and you start selling products. That is a different device that's coming up in the next slide. Some of the limitations of this are, as I mentioned, it doesn't have a physical keyboard, but does have a virtual keyboard. It does comply with EMV. And one thing, however, is it does not have a PIN pad. So if your credit card requires a PIN pad, that will have to be done in store. All right, now that we are clear on that device, what is the next device? It's a Samsung Galaxy Tab. That device enables you to run transactions from anywhere in the world through your store in real time, anywhere, anytime. It's really nice. It's not a full license of Paladin, obviously. It's a cloud-based version of the checkout process. The neat thing about this is it connects to your database in real time through a cloud, and you're able to look up customers. You're able to look up inventory items. You may also recall customers, and as well as store and recall quotes. It will respect pricing plans and sales and promotions, but it will not support at this time, any, in this case, Ace Rewards. It will not support the dynamic promotions or instant savings. Those are kind of off the table at this point for this device. But it's a great device if you're going to a trade show, you want to sell directly off the show, or you want to go to the flea market or swap meet, load up the back of your truck, you can sell using this device. And this is just showing you what the application itself looks like. Again, this device can be taken anywhere outside the store. We are on a new version now. This says requires version 1.1.1. We actually have 1.1.5. So we've added several features, and we continue to add features to this product as it matures. Continuing on to the Ingenico Lane 7000 and or 8000 payment terminals. These are the payment terminals that are replacing the Ingenico 350s and 250s. And if you still have the old unencrypted MagTech swipes, with a separate signature capture device, that needs to be replaced. You really should consider upgrading now. this device has been out for a while, so we've worked out all the kinks, and it seems to work quite nicely now. So as in the case with every time you introduce a new piece of hardware, there are some challenges, but it's a good time. You're on the end of that bell curve, so it's got full adoption now, and I would say that you should consider doing this. It is a little bit more tricky and picky when it comes to operating systems. Obviously, you cannot use XP with Paladin any longer, but you need to make sure you have a good working version of Windows 10 Professional, and that that's fairly newer equipment, 5 years or better. Another device that we have that we've added to the mix, this is in lieu of or in place of the Lane 7000s or 8000s, we have the Verifone P400. It is a durable, more of a remote kind of credit card device. It does have swipe, it does have dip, it has the pin pad, but it doesn't have a touch screen, so you cannot sign with the finger on the screen. If you wanted, you can always have a separate signature capture device as well. This is a little bit more reasonably priced. It's a little less expensive than the 7000, but when you add the signature capture, you just get right back up to that. So if you plan on having and needing and requiring signature capture, I would suggest maybe just going with the Ingenico. But this is a handy device for paint counters, outside, other areas where you need something that's durable that you don't need to necessarily lock down. All right, so my favorite part here, some of the new point of sale features that you can use. And then on the back side of this are some of the things that we'll be introducing. So what we've added a number of features based on customer requests, in this case, 1,000 board foot pricing. So we've always had the capability, at least we have for years now, where you can turn on 1,000 board foot, 1,000 square foot, and tonnage on the purchase order side, so on the receiving end. And now we have it to where you can sell by 1,000 board foot as well. You put the 1,000 board foot price in, the quantity you want, and it shows you, as you can see in this screen or this image down below here, it shows you that there's a little watermark down here that says it's $12.89 a stick. And in this case, you can see that because you have a quantity of one and the extension is $12.89. The price is $4,833.75 board foot. Kind of expensive. All right, so square footage calculator, that is something else that we've added. Now you'll notice on this drop down, if you right click on any one of the items in invoicing, you'll see this pop-up box appear with insert line, delete line, insert note, add precision, profit analyst, and you have the footage calculator, which is you can also get to by just doing Control K. Well, this is the square footage calculator. It's an addition that we've added, and to get to this window, you can do Control S or right click and click on square footage calculator. You just put in the number of pieces, the width in feet, the width in inches, the length in feet, the length in inches, and it will calculate all that out and tally it up appropriately, and giving you the description down below the item of specifically how you created this. Following that are numbered quotes. We've had a number of you ask us, can you please number the quotes? And yes, we can. So the numbered quotes, you just activate under Setup, Invoice Store tab, and enable quote numbers. That'll start with number 1, the very first time you activate this. Every quote will now have a quote number assigned to it. That quote number will follow it through the invoice to the receipt. It also shows it on the recall of the quote. If you notice in the bottom left-hand corner here, it says Mary Smith is the name. In the memo, it automatically puts in there quote number 6, and then whatever you want, office remodel in this case. So it's a great feature. Apply freight cost to EDI invoices. So we've had the capability to provide freight costs to manually entered purchase orders. This is the EDI invoices can now have freight applied to them as well. So when you finish receiving, you can go in and you can hit the button apply freight, and it will enable you to add freight across the board either by weight or by cost as depicted here. And then that becomes part of the cost of goods sold. It changes the cost appropriately as that freight cost is spread out amongst those items. Tip, it's best to practice the apply freight costs or to apply the freight cost soon after the EDI invoicing. Customize email invoice messages. So now you've had the capability forever to be able to automatically email invoices to customers by selecting under the customer module, send email invoices, and it will automatically do that on the fly. Or you can do it at checkout as well, where you can email. And what happens is this enables you to add a custom message and a note about upcoming promotions or other custom text that you want if your customer opts in for an email invoice. So before, it just gave you the invoice number kind of in the subject, would show invoice and the number. The attachment would also be there, but there wouldn't be any basic, there wouldn't be any customized text information. This now is enabled. Following up to the next product or feature, this is create a new purchase order from back-ordered items. So if you oftentimes, during this pandemic, we've had a lot of supply chain issues out there. So there's been quite a few back orders. This will enable you to call up the purchase order that has been received, and you can hit revise PO. And what that'll do is it'll take the information that of all the products that were not received on that purchase order and create yet a new purchase order, which will enable you to send that again. So if you wish to resend the information that on the PO where you did not receive items, it's one button, just one button. Press that button, and what happens is it creates a revised PO from your original PO number and enables you to send that off yet again to the supplier just with a push of a button. Add precision to PO. So in invoicing, you have the opportunity to right-click on any line item in invoice and input up to 4 decimal places for quantity and 6 decimal places for cost. Well, now we've added it on the purchasing side under the purchase order. So now you can add up to 4 decimal places beyond for quantity and 6 for cost. And that's when you're purchasing. It also shows you the extended cost below. All right, moving forward. We've got scheduled reports for weekday only. So we've had a request that some folks do not want to automatically print preset reports, those reports that can be created at any time you want, weekly, monthly, daily. In this case, we gave a second option to daily, allowing you to exclude the weekends for those reports. Next, we have a credit card deposit report. This is if you go into end of day reporting and basically look at your, this is when you're doing the daily reporting or till report, you can specifically request an Excel document for your credit card deposit, right? So when you do your end of day reports, your daily reporting, you will see a PDF version of this, but if you go specifically into credit card deposit report, you'll see this option to export it to Excel. Just makes it easier when you're reconciling this with the payment processor's information. Next, we have now a customer-friendly Excel transaction report. So we've had the capability to run transaction reports to Excel. Now we've given you the ability to be able to share those reports with your customers. We've excluded the accounting department information off of there. If you select customer friendly, it will not put things like profit, costs, things of that nature. It just prints the information on the invoice. Some customers want this data, this detailed line item data. Now you can give it to them. Again, customer friendly for the Excel transaction report. Automatically exclude special orders from rewards. So special orders tend to be large, big ticket items typically, and sometimes you just don't want to include those as part of the rewards and promotions. So for rich rewards and repeat rewards, and I'm not certain, this is an ACE presentation, so I would think that this is enabled for ACE as well. And actually, I think it is. I think it has been actually, and I think that's done through your rewards within Paladin and AceNet. But for all those others that are out there that aren't using Ace Rewards and using Rich or Repeat, we now have this capability as well built in. So you just set a default class, make sure that class is excluded from rewards, and we're good to go. EMV stores. So those of you who have upgraded from the Ingenico ISC 250s, when you used to put in stored credit cards, you used to be able to swipe. Well, when you moved to the 7000, that just wasn't inherently in that product. We had to add it, and it was added very quickly after we discovered this. But if you have and want to collect credit cards on file, and the customer happens to be there, you can now, instead of manually entering that number, for example, over the phone, you can now swipe that card. And you just have to uncheck the manual entry when you go to add a stock or add a credit card to the stored file in the customer module. New item fee details report. So there's been a request for a lot of different, people are trying to manage all these different fees that are in there for recycling, paint fees, battery fees, core fees, core charges. And what we've done is we've had a really elegant way, or created an elegant way to be able to track those. You just put in a, whatever you want to call it, fee. In this case, it's called required fee. If you haven't made changes to this today and gone into File Setup, Invoice, and Store tab and use alternate core charge identifier, it's going to say core charge, but you can change it to whatever you want. And then based on the item, it's going to look at the class that it's in. And based on that class, it's going to give you a report where it can itemize that information and show you. All you have to do is, at the end of the day or whenever, go into sales analysis, what I need to know, required fee details. Now, if that was core charge, it would say core charge details. If you wrote something else like paint fee, it would show paint fee details. You go into that, and you're going to see an Excel report generated from that, and it's a summary of the fees collected by class, and then it also shows you the collected fees by transactions within a class. On the upper window, we see here -1, which means it's null, which means there is no class identified, so that's why it says class, no class defined. But in fact, you do, in this case, do have garden chemicals and paint supplies, and you can see the different workbooks. If you go to the workbooks, you'll see a breakdown of those invoices for that particular fee. Very cool. All right, now, how many times do you remember calling us and asking us to give you a new admin password? It was required every 90 days. If you forgot to go in and do it, it then kind of locked you out. Not a good thing. So what we were able to do is, so to reduce your time and that you're calling us and our time receiving the call and reassigning new admin password, we sort of eliminated that password. I say sort of because it's still in play for a couple of things, but it's not the actual admin password anymore. It's just your standard 4-character code that you log in with when you log into Paladin. If you had permissions given in the past to admin password to employees, then it's just automatically going to put a checkbox under admin access. So down below here where it says a new admin access checkbox will grant admin access to this employee or to an employee. You click that, they automatically get it. They don't have to remember a password. They just get that capability. Now there is one exception where you do need a password, and that is when you're voiding items, you will need the password. Next, itemize taxes on receipts. So this was relevant for, a lot of states that require a breakdown of the taxes. In California, one in particular, where they have a lumber tax of 1%. I don't know what it is today, but I remember it used to be 1%, and it has to be called out on the receipt. What we've done is we've broken this up, and we've also extended it out with the complexity with taxes. We've gone out 6 decimal places, right? And that enables it to give the totals correctly at the bottom and show all the different breakdowns. So that is in here. If you are not set up with broken out taxes, such as this, you will see one tax line and just one amount. It will not be broken down like this. But if you do decide to go in and break that down, it will show you the taxes with 6 decimal points. All right, some of the new ACE hardware features. So we've added just a plethora of different features in here for ACE. Now that we're taking advantage of their API or application programming interface, where they enable us to get real-time access to data. One of those pieces of information is the RSC availability. So we're looking for items in the warehouse, right? We want to see what we have in the warehouse. Well, we can do that, but on top of that, starting with this display here that you see, or image you see on the screen, if you desire, when calling up a purchase order, to show all the out-of-stock items and partial stock available, you can do that. There's a little new button that's there that says Stock Check. If you click that button when you recall a purchase order, it's going to show you everything that's out of stock in the first part of that purchase order. So it starts out with RSC out of stock, lists all the products out of stock. Second, it goes in and does partial stock available, list all the information of all those items that they have partially available, and then below that will be stock available. So you can take this and literally create another purchase order if you wanted to go to supplier number 2. For these times when the supply chain has been compromised and those fill rates are dropping or have in the past, and it's getting better, I hear, but this will really help you. You don't have to investigate every order you have and go to AceNet and see what they have. It's all right here. In addition to that, if you're on a particular item in the purchase order, you can look at that particular item. In this case, how much do they have? You just right-click and hit Stock Check. In multi-store, it would be Transfer, and it will show you the real-time quantity on hand for products in the ACE Retail Support Center, or RSC. In addition, you can go into your inventory screen, and at the bottom, if you have any inventory items listed here, you may just hit the F7 key, and it will display what is stock on hand in the RSC. Additionally, we are also bringing out information or uploading information on product images. So as you receive invoices, we are going out and we're going to grab the image and make that available when you're on Advanced Lookup in Paladin. So if you're Advanced Lookup, look up an item, you want to see what it looks like, just click on the little magnifying glass and it will show an image right there on the screen. ACE hot sheets processed automatically overnight. So that you will have seen. It was implemented. We started rolling it out in November of last year to some of the alpha and beta stores. Everybody should have this today, where it just automatically does the EDI processing to speed up that time when you actually go and accept it. So all EDI invoices are actually still processed manually, but the hot sheets and maintenance updates are processed overnight. Right? Any price increases that you have on those maintenance files or hot sheets, they're delayed to ensure your bid tag prices aren't lower than the inventory prices. So when you manually go in and process the invoices, that point it will download the files and process those new prices. Just really expedites the process tremendously. Moving on, revenue report update for ACE Instant Savings and Promotion. So you've seen this as well. This transition was made towards the end of last year, around the same times we implemented the API, where we've, because of ACE, where there's tax or accounting calculations that look at dynamic promotions or instant savings that may be either respect tax or not respect tax, we had to break this out as a revenue source, and we put it down below in the department listing so we can show the items broken out. So for the time being, when you generate your comparative revenue reports, you will still see the instant savings dynamic promotion up in the top hand portion, but only for the last year, right? All the new years, or since the time that you moved over to this, you'll see it down below. And changes were made to prevent revenue totals from appearing greater than taxable totals when promotions are taxed, right? This is based on geographic location. It's based on your tax municipalities, and it's sent. That data is automatically sent from ACE, and we respect that. Moving forward, support for the Valspar Benjamin Moore SKU conversion. You've probably already done this as well, but this is something that's in there under Maintain Utilities, ACE Utilities. There is a conversion to convert Valspar to Benjamin Moore. Support for Big Green Egg online pickup in-store orders. So we've added utilities for this as well. Big Green Egg items sold on acehardware.com now require Ace Hardware SKUs to ensure that your customers can purchase Big Green Egg products online from your store. Run this utility. You've probably already done this. If not, you're not selling many Big Green Eggs off the acehardware.com, but it shows you instructions down below. Maintain Utilities, ACE Utilities, ACE BGE SKU conversion. All right, so some of the new point of sale features coming soon. So I've got a couple of them here to share with you. One is a pick list. So if you go into and create orders from stored quotes, right? An order is basically solidifying that quote saying, yep, this is what they want. They don't have to buy it all the same day. They can do a buy down week after week until it's completely exhausted and fulfilled. But anytime you wish to see any of these orders, you may do that just by clicking on pick list. And that's going to show you the balance due. What information or products do I still need to sell this customer? And that will give you this list. It's very useful for fulfillment. And these are the outstanding or unsold items, right, on that order. All right, also coming soon, declutter your quotes by removing the older ones. So how many of you have asked me for this? I think if I asked for a raise of hands, I bet you most, if not all people would have asked for this. So what this enables you to do is select a number of days, and after that so many days, whether it's 7 days, 30 days, 60 days, we will automatically delete old quotes. And it happens, I believe this happens overnight on a daily basis, or maybe even weekly. We go in and we just clean out all those old quotes that are cluttering things up. If you don't want it and you want the quotes to remain in there forever, perfect. You can do that. Just don't put a number of days to delete quotes. All right. There is one other additional one that I know is coming soon as well. This enables you to skip signature on the mobile to checkout application. So if any of you are using this app and you don't want to force the customer to sign the signature page, you can turn it off, or you can just hit skip signature. Before that wasn't possible. Somebody would have to put something on there. In this case, now you just hit skip signature and accept, and you're good to go. That concludes everything I have in the slide deck, but I do know that there's another feature coming. It's just one of those that only a few have asked for, but because you're here and you spent the time with me and you've hung out for this entire time, I'm going to share it with you. So you heard it first. Nobody else has it yet, and it probably won't be rolled out in an official release for a while, but it is an oversold alert. So when you're at checkout and you scan an item, this is particularly relevant for building materials and lumber yards, where you can't see, you don't know how many are there, and you're not looking at how many left in stock. You're just, if your eyes aren't drawn to that, you can ask for it to give you an oversold alert. So that is it for the information I am to provide you with today. I am more than happy to take questions. You can go into 2020 release guide in the portal.paladinpos.com/new-features/summer-2020 to see more and read more information. So we are ready for questions. I still don't see any at this point. I know everything's pretty straightforward. Most of you customers understand and know what this stuff is. but I will hang out here for a while, go over some additional plugs here. Here's one for our using Pointy. Post your products online with Paladin and Pointy. That is March 30th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you are not using Pointy today, you are missing out tremendously. It is a automated feature that just enables you to share products online when doing Google searches, and it's effortless, and it's automatic and updated nightly from Paladin to Pointy. So I think there's information about it from the past, but we're doing an updated and refreshed webinar on the subject matter. So please join us then. Again, you can always go to paladinpointsale.com/retail science to find out relevant information. We're constantly writing new articles on how you can increase your business, grow your store, nurture your customers, and just be more successful in general. Also, the webinars, as I mentioned, are available portal.paladinpos.com/webinars. And the self-help is not only, it doesn't require the Paladin product. You can go there just by going to portal.paladinpos.com and read information on, obviously see our webinars, but read more information on knowledge-based articles and features and that sort of thing. So with that, folks, I don't see any questions at this time. So I am going to finish our call here. I just want to thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you, and we see relief here from the pandemic coming. I can feel it. It's in the air. I mean, not literally, hopefully it's out of the air at this point, if you know what I mean. But again, thank you so much for attending today, and share this with your help and your staff and anybody else that might find it useful information. As always, if you have any questions, contact support. Take care, guys.